Hello, and welcome to Release0. In this example, we are going to create a chatbot agent that collects information about leads for a RV camper business. The new agent will have three functions. First, we will create an option to allow users to be added to the RV community mailing list. This will save the user information into a Google spreadsheet. The second stage will be to add OpenAI Chat GPT to allow users to chat with our agent. The scope of the chat will be limited to a specific prompt prepared for this scenario. Lastly, we are going to introduce a condition block that will allow us to display additional information, in this case, images, when the conversation has certain keywords. Once in our Agent Flow editor, we will add a text block to display a welcome message. We can use multiple text blocks to improve the conversation flow design. Then we can add a button choice block. Choice blocks allow us to direct the user to select an option from a provided number of choices. For now, we are adding the option for registering to our mailing list. Next, we can use the user input blocks to collect the required information. In this case, we will use text input block to collect the username, and we can save the value into a variable for later use. We can do the same for the user email. Then we can add our Google Sheets integration block to allow us to save the collected information into our spreadsheet. We have previously created a simple spreadsheet with just two columns, name and email. After the connection has been established, we just need to choose the spreadsheet. Then the sheet in our case, Sheet 1, and then map each column of our spreadsheet with our collected variables, name and email. After mapping both our variables to each column in our spreadsheet, we can test our workflow. When prompted, we will choose the mailing list option, then input a name and an email address. This will trigger the integration with Google Sheets and the values of our variables. Name and email will be sent to our Google spreadsheet. We can also add a variable to an agent dialog text block to display back to the user information provided. In this case, we can reply back with the user's name. We will run the agent scenario once again and check how the information has been added to our Google spreadsheet. We have now completed the first scenario by having our agent collect data and save it into Google Spreadsheets. Now we can go to the second part, where we will integrate ChatGPT with our agent in order to provide sales support. For our second scenario, we are adding a group that will collect users' chat messages and feed them into our GPT. For this, we will create a variable called user message, where we can save the chat information. Then we will need to add a variable block to keep our chat session saved. For this, we need to append the values from user message into a new variable called chat. Next, we can connect our agent using our OpenAI API key, located at platform.openai.com. Then create a new key to add it into our OpenAI block. Now we can configure the OpenAI block by selecting the account and choosing the Create Chat Completion option. Then we select one of the available models. For our purposes, we can select the GPT 4.1 Mini. Next, we need to define the role of the agent. For our scenario, it will be a system role. Next, we need to add our GPT prompt. We already have a prompt prepared for this scenario that defines the role of the agent as a sales representative for our RV campers. Next, we will add a dialogue role and specify the variable chat where we store the chat information and we select user as the start of the conversation. We can adjust the AI temperature to a low value like zero point 0.3 to avoid improvisation and keep the responses close to the provided GPT prompt. Finally, we save the AI response into a variable called Response AI so we can display it in the agent's chat. Now we can test our agent flow using the OpenAI integration. We can start the chat simulator and choose the option from the menu that triggers the AI integration. Then we can ask specific questions about the RV camper products, and the AI will provide answers tailored by the prompt we added to the integration configuration. We have successfully created an integration with Google Sheets and a chat loop with AI using OpenAI. For our third scenario, we are going to use a conditional block to detect a specific keyword and provide additional information in the form of images and text data. To add a condition, we just need to drag a condition block from the logic block section. Then we can evaluate the condition. If the user message contains the RV model name Palisade, then we will trigger another block. For the new block, we will add images of the exterior and interior of the RV, and we can also add additional text. Now we can trigger the chat simulator and test our scenario by requesting information about the Palisade RV model. This in turn will trigger the condition and display the images provided. You can repeat this step for each RV model you wish to provide images or additional information.